No longer dependent on Kitty Hawk's winds, the Wrights shifted their entire operation to Dayton. In secret, they continued their test flying at a remote pasture called Huffman Prairie. 2 years of tinkering and 2 prototypes later, they produced the world's first practical airplane, the Wright Flyer 3. In 1907, the Wrights developed a new airplane, the Model A. The pilot now sat upright at the controls. To launch it in Dayton's light winds, they constructed a catapult device. A 1,400-pound weight was dropped from the top of a small tower, pulling a line under the guide rail that propelled the craft forward. The Wrights could now stay aloft for as long as a half hour, executing graceful figure eights in total mastery of the sky. Still, 1907 was a dark year for the Wrights, as they faced the daunting task of selling an airplane that they refused to show to any prospective buyer. As the Wrights ran into brick walls as salesmen, others began stumbling into the air. In France, renowned balloonist Alberto Santos Dumont flew 200 feet in an ungainly craft that was unable to turn.
It smashed its landing gear when it came down and it cracked its propellers, but there was no denying that the man had flown.
Wilbur and Orville still refused to fly publicly, insisting to a dubious world that they had long ago conquered the air.
The world was calling them fakers. The French were calling them bluffeurs, or as the French meant it, liars.
By 1908, 5 years after Kitty Hawk, the Wrights finally secured their patents and 2 lucrative contracts. They sold a still unproven flyer to the United States government for $25,000 and sealed a deal with a French syndicate for 500,000 francs. On August 8th in Le Mans, France, Wilbur prepared to silence the skeptics.
He flies on down along his course, and then directly in his path is a grove of trees. And so Wilbur uses his rudder and he sweeps through a successful banked turn. And the screams from the audience turn to cheers.
A month after Wilbur's triumph at Le Mans, it was Orville's turn. At Fort Myer in Virginia, before awestruck crowds, he demonstrated his flyer for the United States Army. He wowed government officials with low-level acrobatics and masterful endurance flights, lasting as long as 74 minutes. The Wrights had recaptured their glory and their place in history. Fame never changed them, but legal battles with rivals who copied their innovations exhausted Wilbur. In 1912, he contracted typhoid fever and died at age 45. Without his brother, Orville lost his passion to advance flight and sold the fledgling Wright Aircraft Company. For the next 3 decades, he was content to accept the world's accolades and tinker at his home in Dayton. He died in 1948.
It says that we can do anything that we set our minds to. It's a story that today still convinces us that anything is possible.